All right, happy Thursday, March 18th, 2021. There is tutoring after school today. It's my normal tutoring day. So if you need any last minute help, be sure and let me know. We will be focusing analysis interpretation again because we're working on our essays. But basically, you're going to be looking for revision. If you finished your essay, if you haven't finished your essay, of course, you're going to do your best to get finished and get them turned in so I can give you feedback and you can revise. And for today, actually, this is not updated. We're going to talk about, the discussion question is, well, why is it difficult for people to apologize? Let me fix this. You think I would have fixed it earlier? Hey, come on, Carvajal, you're a good writer. And we're going to be reading part of that article to kind of think about this problem that many of us have. I know I've talked about my dad before, my angry father, and how much trouble he and I had when I was a teenager and a young man. And of course, neither one of us wanted to admit that we were wrong. And really, in retrospect, we were both wrong. I was a little jerk. And I was getting back at him for being such a mean jerk. And of course, he was getting back at me for being such an annoying, sneaky teenager. And we were just taking turns being mean to each other, and nobody ever knew how to apologize. Eventually, I did learn, and it made a huge difference in my relationship with my father in the later years. So I just thought it was something for us to look at and be good. So before we get to that, let's do our positive affirmations. Today is a good day. And if you're not feeling good, you need these as much as I do. So say them with me. What are you? I am strong, confident, and successful. Yes, we are. And how do you feel about getting work done? I love getting work done. Man, it feels good when I take care of business. And how do we feel about schoolwork? The harder I work, the stronger I become. Okay, so if we look into... Here's week 10. And remember, the essay itself isn't Tuesday's work. Like I said, for our class, I've already graded it. I'm going to return it to you as soon as I'm done talking here. And those of you that have finished can get to revising. For today's work, there's our discussion question. Why do you think it's so hard for most people to apologize? Just trying to give us some insight into that. If you have a thought on it, be sure and add to it. And then for today, once again, if you're not finishing the essay, revise your essay. You probably, for the main first revision, I didn't write this on your essay, but you do want to add an introduction. Some people talked about their personal connection to the theme or the character. That really should not be part of the essay. It is an analysis essay, not a personal essay. So when you're talking about, oh, Jerry reminds me of myself, or my own childhood, this happened to me, that really shouldn't be part of your body paragraphs. You want to focus your body paragraphs on details, quotes from the story. But if you want to make it as your introduction to kind of swing into the theme or the character or whatever, you can tell a little quick piece of that as a personal connection there, then you get into theme or the character. And so think about that. You could also look up a quick details on the author. I had somebody in third period give a bio of Doris Lessing and found out some great information, and he related everything in that to why she wrote it the way she did. It was amazing. You can also give an overview of the theme or the issue, be it coming of age or never giving up or whatever. You could talk about that in general before you get to your thesis and your body paragraphs. If you were focused on the characters, right, Jerry or Mary or George were really cool because they did this and this and this and this. All you have to do is leave the details the same, but instead of focusing on Mary, Jerry, or George, you're going to talk about the author did such a great job of creating Mary, Jerry, and George because this is what they did. So it's just a slight shift in your thinking and in your writing. Because remember, we're thinking like writers, and we're talking about the author's choices, not directly on the story itself. And it's an easy mistake to make, and it's an easy fix. You just have to change the language of how you set up your examples in your body paragraph. You do want to add quotes to show what you're talking about, and you can click here and open up any part of any story so that you can copy and paste in a quote. We hadn't really been talked about needing to put citations, and I'll leave it at that. You don't have to cite. If you want to cite, you can, but don't worry about it. For this essay, we're just going to put in the quotes. Be sure you put them in quotation marks, of course. Once you're done, clean up, read aloud. Nobody likes to do this, but it makes such a huge difference in the quality of your writing. You will hear mistakes when you read out loud that you will not hear if you're reading silently. You don't have to read in a loud, big teacher voice the way I do. You can read it quietly to yourself and move the cursor along as you read, and you will catch things that don't sound quite right. You will catch the wrong words that you didn't notice before. So make the effort and do that. And of course, add paragraph breaks, skip lines between paragraphs, do a spell check. Have a friend read over it, and then turn it in. And it is due tomorrow, end of day. And if you're not sure what to focus on yet, those of us that haven't really done much, you can kind of look over this to give you ideas. So that's what's going on with the essay. Like I said, I'll be returning them to you in just a moment. And first, I want us to go back to this idea of apologizing. I thought this was a really interesting article. And I read it this morning, and I thought, well, come on, let me share it with my students. So we're not going to read the whole thing, just the first page or two. And if you want to read further, of course you can. You have access to it. And it's right here. You can also open the article in a separate tab and read the whole article. But I'll just read it to you here so we can get moving forward. The Power of Apology, How to Give and Receive an Apology, and Why It's Worth It on Both Ends, by Beverly Engel, published July 1st, 2002, reviewed 2016. This is from Psychology Today. I knew it had taken all the courage my extremely proud mother could muster to say them, so I didn't have to belabor the point. The important thing was that she was saying she was sorry, something she'd never done before. I could tell by her tone of voice that she truly regretted the way she had treated me. Of course, this was only the beginning of the story. Although I believed her apology, I didn't yet know if her behavior toward me would be different. This was tested over time, but by apologizing, she'd acknowledged that I had a reason to be hurt and angry, and that was extremely empowering for me. Apology changed my life. I believe it can change yours as well. Almost like magic, apology has the power to repair harm, mend relationships, soothe wounds, and heal broken hearts. Apology is not just a social nicety. It is an important ritual, a way of showing respect and empathy for the wronged person. It's also a way of acknowledging an act that, if otherwise left unnoticed, might compromise the relationship. Apology has the ability to disarm others of their anger and to prevent further misunderstandings. While an apology cannot undo harmful past actions, if done sincerely and effectively, it can undo the negative effects of those actions. Apology is crucial to our mental health and even physical health. Research shows that receiving an apology has a noticeable positive physical effect on the body. An apology usually affects the bodily functions of the person receiving it. Blood pressure decreases, heart rate slows, and breathing becomes steadier. Emotional benefits of apology. A person who has been harmed feels emotional healing when he is acknowledged by the wrongdoer. When we receive an apology, we no longer perceive the wrongdoer as a personal threat. Apology helps us move past our anger and prevents us from being stuck in the past. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, that was me and my father. Man, I was mad at him for all the times he was so mean to me, and he was mad at me for all the times that I tried to buck his authority, lie, sneak around him, and we were just taking turns, taking it out on each other, and neither one of us ever knew how to let it go. It wasn't until I was much older that I just ate my pride and said, "I'm sorry, Dad," and started apologizing. It made a huge difference. And then apology opens the door to forgiveness by allowing us to have empathy for the wrongdoer. And after I apologized to my dad many times, my dad started apologizing to me. But of course, I had to show him the way because, old school Mexicano, they don't apologize. Nobody ever apologized to them. So it did make a difference for us. Apology benefits the receiver and the giver. The debilitating effects of the remorse and shame we may feel when we've hurt another person can eat away at us until we become emotionally and physically ill. By apologizing and taking responsibility for our actions, we help rid ourselves of esteem-robbing self-reproach and guilt. Like I always say, you want to feel good? Do good. Go do the right thing. You'll be glad you did. Apology has the power to humble even the most arrogant. When we develop the courage to admit we are wrong and work past our resistance to apologizing, we develop a deep sense of self-respect. Apologizing helps us remain emotionally connected to our friends and loved ones. Knowing we have wronged someone may cause us to distance ourselves from the person, but once we have apologized, we will feel freer to be vulnerable and intimate. And there's another little talked about benefit. Since apologizing usually causes us to feel humiliated, it can also act as a deterrent, reminding us not to repeat the act. I'm going to disagree here with this person. I don't think it makes you feel humiliated. I think it makes you feel honest, and it makes you feel humble, and it makes you feel like a good person. So I would take this out of the equation, in my opinion. But of course, we don't have to agree on everything. So if you want to read more of this article, you can continue reading on. There's just another page or so after this, and it's going to talk about how it connects you and the other people, and there's more research done. So it's really interesting. But once again, if you have thoughts on why it's hard to apologize, add them into the discussion, and we'll talk about it tomorrow at the beginning of class. Other than that, once again, let's get our essays done. Let me return your essays to you, and let's finish this 9 weeks strong, because we are strong, confident, and successful. Thanks.